Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to Disconnected. We are here with Andrew Furtado, who is an employee at Severin Films. Andrew, thanks for coming on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. My
I
goodness.
uh, I am absolutely stoked to finally virtually meet you because we've been online friends for quite some time at this point.
Yeah,
It
a few
feels like,
years. I want to
yeah,
scream so bad that your waveform things in the background pick it up, but I see you're wearing headphones, so I'll
I
just
am.
blow out your
It will
ears.
not work. I feel like somebody a couple weeks ago they asked me why are they always going on. I have a vent that points right at it, so it's kind of pointless half the time, anyways. So it's a busy week. You about to embark on another severance sale. How you feeling?
God, shut up. No, I'm just no, man. It's always super stressful. For obvious reasons. The biggest reason is we all hope that the site works. We're always trying to fix things, but there's no stress test like everyone pressing refresh at 12:01 at the same
And for the
time.
14 minutes leading up to it.
Yeah, so we're doing something different in this sale. Obviously, we do something different every sale, but I think the last few sales and a few other websites have had similar situations with the e-commerce website that we were using. So fingers crossed, we changed the e-commerce websites, and
Interesting.
it's
Hoping for
only
something better.
terrifying for most people, myself included. Um, but other
I
than
imagine
that,
after all the complaints that it's just hoping that finally it goes right.
yeah, no. Now that I have a child, I have something else to think about. But before that, I was just obsessively read the forums, like, oh, they're all hating it. Everyone's mad. But we try to do like when things go bad. Like last year, we did the $20 coupon for everyone who was
Right.
struggling, and we are just as frustrated as everybody else. And I hate that this is how this is starting as an apology, but I refuse to not mention it. But yeah, so fingers fucking crossed.
You know what's hilarious is the gift card has totally worked on me because I've
Mhm.
bought things many times since that sale, and every time I hit checkout and I go, God damn it, I forgot the gift card. Now I got to buy something else.
That's what it
Every
was really
single
about.
time.
None of the gift cards even work. It's all just a ruse. No, yeah, no, it's it was is a sign of good faith, and I was really happy with the reaction that everyone gave about it, especially because it was so like it was just a man. It was so stressful that day, and then the one before that where me and three other people we all spent the time logging all the email orders because the site completely crashed for 2 days. So, it's definitely a little bit of a stressful situation, but
The email sale will go down in infamy, undoubtedly. I
yeah,
feel
I
for
call
you, and
this bald spot that I dedicate that to the email sale.
it was a rough one. I certainly felt for you guys during that weekend.
Oh well, it's all good. Everyone got their orders. Everyone was happy and found something new to be mad about the next week. That's just how it goes, man.
Well, speaking of finding something new to be mad about, let's talk about the new titles. I'm loving some of these. You guys got some interesting stuff coming out. What are you looking most forward to during this weekend?
Man, I mean, on the Seven Film podcast, I am not at all afraid to say I dislike Jess Franco as a
Right.
filmmaker, and David being the ever supporter. I don't know what else to call it. He's a jerk because he makes me watch so many Jess Franco films. Yeah, we have three Jess Franco films. One of them is right there behind me. I got the new
Yep.
4K of Faceless, which is the most un-Jess Franco film since I would say probably Bloody Moon, where you're like, oh, this is a Jess Franco film mixed in with an actual film. Like he's like, I'll do it for the threesome scene and the face ripping, and then I'll phone it in for the rest. But
I love that you totally clued in that lead in was about Jess Franco because I have to be honest here. I don't love Jess Franco either.
I don't get it.
No.
But I will defend and dedicate hours of my life to make sure that the people who do can. And David, we talked about it on the podcast. I don't know when this goes up, but for the halfway sale podcast episode, we talk about it. David was at Cannes this past month buying films, and I found out 50% of what he purchased were just Franco
Oh,
titles. And
jeez.
he's currently in London meeting up with Steven to go on a trip to do more episodes of In the Land of Franco, which
Wow.
I can't disagree. Those are the best part of those discs, as
Yeah.
far as just they're half location scout, half history lesson, and it's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, it's great that they're doing that, and I love Stephen Thrower as a commentator and as a historian. So, and more of that, please. I'll focus on that. But,
I agree. And Stephen Thrower, literally like one of the best and most important voices in the entire community. So anytime I can, I will throw all support at him.
yeah. So more of that for the people who enjoy that kind of stuff.
This is going up tomorrow, and so one of the questions on my list actually was, when is the Sale podcast coming out? Is that dropping tomorrow?
I think tomorrow. Yeah, we have
Sweet.
we have a group prayer session before at 10 a.m. tomorrow, and then after that, I think it's going up. DJ Alfonso's finishing up his segment of the podcast, and then once that's done, we're good to go, man.
Nice.
Yeah, I think the Sale podcast, I uploaded trailers for everything yesterday, so the trailers should go live either tomorrow or Friday morning. And there's a trailer for Blood Hunt, which I am so excited about. No one knows about that title. I certainly didn't, but Spanish cinema, I'm a huge fan of just genuine Spanish cinema. I don't know if you picked up Hotel Fear from Mondo Macabra.
I did.
That movie was amazing, and I'm just like, yeah, I think Spanish intuition, and no one forgets the Spanish Inquisition, and I have I'm a huge fan of the Spanish intuition, and we have a whole slew of like Spanish films coming out that have all been like hits for me.
Awesome.
And so yeah, I'm super excited, not just for this title in general, but what's coming down that this title has just encouraged. Yeah.
Is that the one Sale title that you're most backing this time?
I would say so, especially because I've always been a fan of film discovery and film, like trying something new. And that's the whole reason we wanted to do the podcast in the first place, is because most of the stuff that we're releasing are first time watches for me or someone at the office.
Right.
So giving context and giving people a chance to go, oh man, I would love that, sounds like right up my alley, and I never would have picked it up otherwise, because it's just a cover most of the time, and just boobs or not, sometimes you're interested, sometimes you're not, you know. Who the fuck would pick up Return of Captain Invincible?
That's
Had
a
they
great
no
point.
idea? I don't know. It's just insane. So like just having that kind of knowledge has always been fun for me. So I always encourage people to try something new and something different. And I can't offer a money back guarantee, but I can at least pray that you enjoy it. But yeah.
I wanted to point out the podcast thing, because you mentioned it a couple times already.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time I've talked to these other labels, behind the scenes, either when we're recording or after we're done, I always bring up, can you please do something like the Severin Films podcast, where you can just give some sort of point of discovery, some sort of how you got the rights to something, how you acquired something, where you recovered the elements from some underground lair and you want to share that story with us, just something. It is such a brilliant way to market those films and get people to understand what the company's passion for them is. So thank you for that.
Of course, thank you. I'm glad that the whole reason of that was like a lot of people are kind of afraid of to reveal how the sauce is made, you know.
Right.
But David has been an active person. Like, he actually, I don't know if you know this, he didn't want to be on the podcast at all to begin with.
Yep.
And I actively fucked up the first episode, so he'd be like, all right, gents, I got to be on. But yeah, no, it's been such a thing for me, because I mean, those are the conversations that are happening at the office all the time anyways.
Right.
I know Arrow has a podcast that's really fun. They do, each episode is about a title that they've released.
Yep.
It's not necessarily focusing on new stuff. But like, that's why I love commentator channels like you and Just the Discs and stuff like that, where you're actually interested in the context and stuff like that.
Correct.
So yeah, thank you for listening and supporting and begging people to do more.
Absolutely.
It's my job to constantly rip people off, and I would love to be ripped off myself. We ripped off Criterion Closet, made Severin Cellar. Fuck it, why not? Rip
It
us
is so
off.
perfect. I have used the Severin podcast genuinely as a means to say, they will just speak about it better. Just please go listen to this episode. And people have literally bought it because I've told them that. So it is a wonderful tool. And that leads into a question that I had somebody ask is, well, first of all, what do you personally do for Severin? Because I know your job has changed over the last few years, I believe, right?
Yeah. Originally, I've been with the company now for 5 years, almost 6. And when I first started, they needed someone to help sync sound on audio and QC the elements as they were coming in. And
Right.
then all of a sudden, I was just getting everything coming in. And now I've become kind of the post-production coordinator. I took over as the head of QC department, which happened around the Changeling. That was when we were like, okay, cool, this needs to be a full-time thing. So I took over that, and I've been helping out with getting QC taken care of and trying to avoid as many problems as possible. But yeah, basically I've now become just post-production coordinator. That's the best way to word it. Like, everyone sends me the elements, I just decode everything, figure out what the hell everything is for. We have multiple like collaborators like Francesco in Italy and Federico, who produces these incredible, from Freakorama, who produces these incredible bonus features for us, Kayla, Janice, and everyone just needs a voice to go, here you go. One day I got a package from Ruggero Diodato, and I was I was blown away because I'm like, first off, he got my name right, and inside was a package, and it was like a gift, and I was like, holy shit, this was supposed to go. And then I opened it, it was just a hard drive. I'm like, god damn it. It's like a beautiful package, and it was just it was for Ballad and Blood and all this stuff. So it's just, yeah, so that's basically what I do, and I focus on the features themselves, kind of going through all the elements, making sure that all the audio is there, and I compare cuts to previous releases to make sure that we have either the uncut version or the most uncut version, comparing different releases to see if there's any inconsistencies to try and track down what would be considered. For example, I can't talk about this box set yet, but there is a box set coming that everyone knows is coming. And there's a film in there that was a cut negative, and there's 4 different names for this movie, and there's like 3 different cuts from Greece. And you gotta see, and Greece is kind of just shoving shit places where they don't belong because they want to fill space or something like that. And
right,
like, let's put a penis in there, fuck it. And so I kind of try to figure out what the best is, and work with researchers and stuff like that to try to make sure that we have an accurate cut and not just like a fan edit.
I posted a question for patrons of the channel, and one of the people said this box set that is coming, that we all know is coming, that we're not going to share intimate details about, and I understand that. They want to know about progress, and mostly I've had a lot of people just ask, is it still coming? And obviously, it's still coming.
Just like the audience will be. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, that's it hasn't stopped. It's just growing, and that's why it's a mixture of licenses having to finish at other places first in order to release it, which has been kind of the most recent situation and why it's been held off. But in that time, we've added, I think, 2 titles to the set, so it's ever growing. The longer it waits, so it's going to be a huge weight off my shoulders once it's done.
And based on the description of your job, I can't imagine, like, the amount of times you've had to watch some of these films is probably overwhelming.
It's worked in my benefit. For example, the Blood Island films, I hated the first time I watched it, but the 8th time it really landed. It
makes sense. And I'm never going to watch them 8 times, so that's good to know.
I will say, give Brides of Blood 8 times. And I'm not even fooling. That movie becomes amazing. John Ashley is a hero in my eyes. I want to do a commentary for one of those movies because John Ashley doesn't get enough love, and I recommend people give John Ashley some love.
I get lucky to watch a film once nowadays with 2 kids running around, and
oh yeah.
You'll be there soon, so
I look at my just in bit, my stacks of just in titles, going, oh shit, well, I'm gonna get one of these done.
Yeah, it's certainly getting rougher and rougher, but my hope is in 5 years I can get my oldest to enjoy some of this and we can watch it together.
like show your kid Thriller, see how that works.
Exactly. I can't wait. That was a weird sentence. The box set discussion is a wonderful segue to another patron had to ask, what is, like, if you can share the minutia behind the scenes of how you guys are choosing either the subject of a box set or what all to put in a box set for one of these subjects, because it seems like we're getting very similar types of box sets for some of these auteurs, and I do say that meaningfully. I'm not digging them at all.
I get you.
And then at that point, there's almost everything in the box set, but not quite in a lot of them. So just curious behind the scenes how that's working out.
A lot of that. So, for example, why don't we use Ray Dennis Steckler as a jumping off point there? A lot of his films, I don't know if you know this about him. He would actually make movies and then re-release titles as different movies. So, like one movie, like Al Adamson, one movie is 3 different films, just recut back and forth.
Right.
Steckler would just re-release the same movie but change it. So, what was it? Incredibly Strange Creatures ended up being re-released as something Bloody Mary, and they and instead of creating a new film, he would just shoot a new trailer,
right.
and none of that element was in the thing. But there are also times where Thrill Killers, for example, it was re-released later as The Maniacs Are Loose, where they shot unique footage at the very beginning in color of someone explaining hypnovision, and then later in the film, when the killer was doing something, it would cut to this like spiral in the box set cover there, you see,
right, and
that's to let you know as an audience that you're supposed to be terrified and you should be going mad as well. So long story short is a lot of the films that sometimes get released are that, and a mixture of rights issues. Sometimes they're very muddy. For example, certain like studios might own the rights to that film and they won't give it up just out of disinterest or not making any money off of it. There's different things of context for I have a feeling you might be confused why there's a bunch of random pornos in there and a bunch of Nazi pornos. Those are all Joe Rubin from Vinegar Syndrome's Enthusiasm, and we were able to work a deal with them to get the rights to some of them, but they wanted to keep a few titles exclusive to them because they still own the license on those, and,
right.
and including them in the box set is a courtesy. They did the same thing with Al, where they only and Milligan as well, where they gave us a few of the titles but not all of the titles, and only one cut of a specific thing. So there's a lot of little things that go into it, but it's almost all because of film enthusiasts or people who are like, yeah, fuck it, let's throw it in there. That'd be great. I think it'd be fun. We try to get everything as much as we can, and kind of leave with everything. Milligan, for example, like that just kept growing and growing, and we got stuff that we never even thought would have been possible. Right. Originally, that started because we got the rights to the Michigan films, and there were the 3 that came out from Code Red before us. In different aspect ratios and from different elements, usually from Tape Masters, and they were like, well, you can buy the rights, if you can find the elements, do something better, but here's what we had. Right. And so it kind of spawned from there, and then Joe from Vinegar Syndrome was like, I got a couple of his titles, and then all of a sudden we're hiring specialists, and they're like, I know someone who owns the rights to this film, and so it just keeps growing and growing and growing until it becomes okay, we got to cut it off at one point.
And with box sets like Milligan, it turns into this impressive like jungle of amazingness that it is just so damn impressive to see one distributor be able to do that. And I mean, obviously you guys have been praised like crazy, but I just hope that doesn't stop, because
it's not. We have more in the works for sure. It might not be a complete sets due to rights or something like that, but we are working on getting those rarities or obscurities or hard to find films and
Good.
creating a collection of, you know, a certain filmmaker's work here and there, and that's not stopping. We're even, I think we're doing an Intervision director, like, filmmaker box set as well. Like, it's continuing and continuing. So
Wow.
yeah, it's not gonna stop. Don't worry about that. We want your money.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. So speaking of wanting our money, I obviously, a lot of people that are watching this, they know Severin, they've loved Severin for a long time, but this is an interesting sale because you've got some other cool things going on, like the whole box set sale for 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's a brand new thing. Is there any specific, like, handful of things that you would say this is what I would say is the Severin starter pack for the sale that anybody new to the label should jump into?
Man, yeah, there is 100% a Severin starter pack that is available. The Changeling has got to be in there because you got to know we have class.
Yep.
We got class, and then follow that up with Skin Deep and show we also got sass because Skin Deep is insane. And then you also need Overboard because you got to show your parents that this isn't just a creepy thing. Look, they got a Kurt Russell movie in there. But yeah, I think your starter pack needs to have a little bit of Jess Franco. It has to have some classic black and white Italian horror, maybe something with Barbara Steele. You know, she's been such an icon and such a huge part of the label for many years now. So, I mean, her, and then you got to pick something sleazy. And then something shot on video.
Speaking of shot on video, I'm curious on it. I don't think this one was shot on video, but Saint Bernard. Have you seen Saint Bernard, and how do you feel about Saint Bernard?
I think my brain shit itself the first time I watched Saint Bernard. It is not for everyone, but Gabe Bartalos, you know, is not for everyone.
Right.
But I think everyone at Severin really loves what he did because this was a dude who went, I want to make a movie. What's the story? Who fucking cares? Let's just do a bunch of crazy effects and let's just have fun and just, you know, get my friends involved. And it feels so low budget, but it has such a high concept because he's putting hours in. And there's some of the best bonus, like special effects on the label in that movie. It doesn't make a lick of sense. It doesn't make any fucking like attempt to make a full story. It is just he finds a Saint Bernard's head on the middle of the freeway and then wants to make music and
goes on a journey.
Man. It doesn't have to make sense.
I don't know if at the end of the film I was connecting dots myself, but I only bring it up because I don't hear hardly anyone else championing it, and I love that damn movie. Yeah. And that is like one of the first ones I suggest people go to because it's just so off the wall.
People liked it enough. They bought it, and people were very excited to the point where we were like, Gabe, what else do you have? And he came back and he was like, I got this movie I made for Fangoria that was like a shot on film but finished on video, you know, thing. It's called Skin Deep, and so we were like, cool, let's look into it. Jason Duran is a huge supporter of that film and was like, as soon as we started talking to Gabe, he's like, you got to get Skin Deep. So having that, we were like, all right, let's just do it. And then he was like, I got all the the original camera negative if you want to like use it, but it's all dailies and nothing's there. So we rebuilt the film from its original negative for the first time because it was finished on video. And yeah, so we went in and we did the color correction, we restored it and went through god damn, I can't imagine the amount of hours. I think it was like 14 hours worth of dailies just finding the takes used in the movie. I've done it before myself. I did that on Nightbreed for Scream Factory in 2014. I rebuilt that film and recut it, and yeah, I don't envy Michael Felsher from Red Shirt Pictures did the rebuild for that, so motherfucker's got some patience.
Man, I can't imagine.
And it's not the first time. It's not the only time he's done it too. He did it for another film that we're putting out on 4K that has also never had a release of the actual film elements.
Wow.
So yeah, it's something that it's dedication, man. It takes some time, and so yeah, that's
that is incredibly impressive. The next thing, I mean, you just brought up 4K. You were just helping me with all these segues. I'm just a
transition machine.
One of my favorites, I had to mention Santa Sangre. I think that your guys' disc is impeccable. It was an incredible release. only rivaled maybe by Perdita Durango, which was my most anticipated release for years when you guys first mentioned it.
God damn, that movie. Yeah, thank you. Our foray into 4K has been nothing but hits as far as like titles go. I've really enjoyed all of the 4K releases so far.
Right.
And I think that was something like when we first started adding slipcovers to things, we were like, okay, we should do it for like, prestige titles. Let's make
Right.
sure that it's a title worth a slip. Now we're like, let's just use all the art we can because this art is fucking awesome. But that's how we're starting with 4K, where we're like, we want this to be a title that we can fully back and encourage people
Right.
to get, because we try to keep our prices pretty competitive and low, but it's also a business, and I think we have to make a certain amount of money on a title. But
Of course.
yeah, Perdita Durango is fucking amazing. Day of the Beast is fucking amazing. But Santa Sangre was, man, the upgrade. I don't know if you saw it. I cut a video of the previous release that we did
Yeah.
and the 4K. And although it's an SDR, which was a directorial request as opposed to anything else, it's still just such a huge improvement of just not only where the film restoration has come,
Right.
but film encoding.
It looked amazing. That transition video that you guys put out, it was easily one of the most important things I think for Severin when they were going into 4K. So
Yeah.
great choice. Absolutely great choice.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that I'm glad you enjoyed it, and all four goddamn discs.
Well, Santa Sangre, obviously you guys have put out on Blue, and then you put out on
Mhm.
4K. I'm sure you can't reveal anything, but is that something that Severin might consider as doing more, re-releases of stuff that they'd put out and put it out on 4K again?
I did mention prestige titles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's something we're working on. I might have one of the hard drives right to my left. One that we're working on.
That is good to hear.
Yeah, no, it's something that we want to do. We don't want to do it too often because it's like kind of messed up, especially like upgrades are tough. I think Scream
Right.
Factory are experiencing that right now with a lot of the blowback on their
Yeah.
their re-releasing all these things on 4K, and it's like everything. But they're also a company that put out a shit ton of hits, and guess who's bought
yeah.
almost all of them so far? This asshole. And yeah, and I mean, Life Force looked amazing. So I mean, I'm happy with the fact that it's happening. I think people are just mad that their wallets can't keep up with the
Right.
output.
And that's the hard part is
It's so hard.
they all genuinely, I won't say all of them, most of them have been such a substantial increase that I can see why it was worth it.
Yeah, and like my best tip is buy your Scream Factory from Best Buy. Have an account with them, and just keep piling up points, because every once in a while you get a $5 coupon, and then if you leave that there, you get a $10 coupon. If you leave that there, you got a free disc. So that's what I do.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So
But buy us direct. Buy us direct.
I had a thing that I've been kind of praising Severin on for the last couple of years, and I want to see what you think about it. I feel like when the Lindsay Baker box set dropped, it felt like a turn for Severin, and everything past then has been this massive high quality difference. And not that everything before then was crap or anything.
No,
It
I get
just
what you're
felt
saying.
like a heel turn where with that box set it was okay, we are focused now. Would you agree with that or have any
100%. It's been a change in not leadership, but a change in morale within some of the employees that are new, and a lot of us had been kind of saying certain things. And I mean, Faceless was for example, Faceless was David's like go-to title. They went to it originally when they got the company, and the price was just so high, and David,
right?
yeah, there's a certain level of investing in the final thing. I think as a collector's market, it's been especially. I mean, Vinegar Syndrome has been, the benchmark for many people as far as
Right.
quality and quantity goes, and it shows that there is a market for people who want this stuff, and people have been asking for like sturdy boxes for a long time, and the price for sturdy boxes is like 3 to 4 times how much it costs to get like the Blood
Right.
Island set, or like the sets that were beforehand, or the slip covers that are like thin,
Amicus
getting
collection,
the Amicus, like getting those, and the price difference between that and what we're doing now is huge, and it's a scary number, I'm sure. So making that jump, like, and then seeing the return, I think David was like, okay, let's keep doing this, because everything was great, everything went exactly the right way, so let's just keep riding that. And it's now turned into a thing. Like we have fantastical ideas for box sets, and sometimes have to like production, like what's that, display, like how it should look, aesthetics.
Right.
There we go, that's the word.
That works.
For example, we had a really cool idea for Retribution at one point in time, which was creating like a side split, like the demon set, but on one side it was good guy Magar, and the other side was bad guy, or what's his name, sorry. It was that, and then inside is the ghost coming out.
Nice.
And everyone's like, that's amazing, it's a shit ton of money, dude. So we gotta reel it in. But the fun thing has been recently, like, I've been fighting for getting the thicker slips for a long time, because we had such good relationships with certain distributors, and some of those distributors just don't, they're here in DVD still, and we're loyal. We're a loyal company. We want to support the people who have been with us and supported us for as long as possible. So finding that, like, way to finally go, like, we got to do it. Like, we got to pull the cord and make that jump and figure it out. And it's been pretty great since. David's still very happy with the slips, and the audience has been extremely happy with the slips. So now we have great art and great, not too tight slips.
And incredible content. I mean, that is still the base for all of this. So I greatly appreciate the things that you guys put into it. And obviously, David's been doing special features for years, and like one of the foundational for all of these things. So I wanted to it's not even really a question, just hype up for anybody watching. The documentaries on Severin releases are some of the best things you will ever see, because if you watch something like the documentary in the Full Core box set, obviously that is, now it's like the new bar of what everybody's going to be trying to reach to. But even like the In the Land of Francos, it is such this beautiful behind the scenes encapsulation of a microcosm of interest for people that you just don't see unless you dive in, and you guys have captured it perfectly so many times.
David is special feature forward. Just as I am a fan of context, he is a fan of backstory, history, and education. Like, the whole point of Adamson started because he needed the rights to a lot of these films to make the documentary. And then he was like, well, we got the rights, let's just do the set. And I mean, he's doing that for another series of films, making a documentary, and the documentary is first. And same thing with Woodlands Dark and Days Bewitched. Like, a lot of those films were part of the documentary, and they were hard to find films, or lesser known, so the rights were affordable. And so David was like, why don't we just keep doing this and see if we can't, like, make a set. And Kayla was like, absolutely, here's my list of everything I want. And and that's, like I was saying, like, the In the Land of Franco's, as much as I don't care for Franco, like, those bonus features, that series is just absolutely phenomenal. David started at Blue Underground. Well, didn't start at Blue Underground. He got his start in America for Blue Underground, doing bonus features and stuff like that, and has been going ever since. And that is where his passion lies. He loves bonus features, and sometimes there's too many bonus features. But, whatever.
I have Censor that Vinegar Syndrome put out as part of their VSP line, and I didn't love the movie. I thought it was well made. The ending kind of was to me, but I've told people you should absolutely buy this film just to hear David Gregory talk about video nasties, because it's always so damn entertaining.
Yeah, that's like his pride and joy is video. He's got a whole collection, man. And just giving him an opportunity to hey baby, here's my collection. I don't know why the British man is Southern in my head, but he that bonus feature, it got a lot of love. Like, I saw it on the forums at one point in time. People were like, that was kind of awesome just to see a dude go, look at my collection. How cool is this?
That has been one of my favorite part of the podcast, because I think there's been 2 or 3 times where he's brought up, I was bidding on this on eBay last night and got to like $1,300, so I had to stop or something like that. And it's just so fucking funny to watch and listen to him grow over the years.
I've tried to capture it, but it's just too quick. We get packages at the office, and they're like big packages where he bought a bunch of stuff and it all came at once, and he's just like, "Oh my goodies!" And he just like pulls out titles and like, "I got this title and I got this title." He's like a little kid just playing with his toys and just thinking, "Oh, how am I going to organize this?"
I can't imagine a Severin David Gregory unboxing day for Video Nasties or something.
He's like, "I got six VHS copies of The Rites of Frankenstein. I'm so excited." I'm like, "What are you going to do with all six?" "I'm going to put them back to back, and I'm going to make sure that they all look great." I'm like, Jesus, guy.
What's funny is that is the sort of thing that would fit into the culture at Severin, because you guys do things like the Severin Cellar and, you know, the messing around with the FBI messages and the front of some of the films. And where, you know, is that just a part of the company? Where does that come from? Is there somebody in there that just has a wonderful sense of humor? Or?
Our authors, the disc authors, most of it is from Jim Coons and John Buell. They're both our disc authors, and I mean they're just doing data all day. They get no creativity, so they get to shine on the menus and the FBI warnings, and I love them. Like John has so much fun. I remember his menu for Beast and Heat was especially really fun and tasteful. And very tasteful. There had nothing to do with the vagina bush eating, but I mean, like, no.
This is going to be the best episode of the show ever, by the way.
They really do get to have fun, and we encourage that. David's never been one to stifle creativity. I mean, that's why, you know, we get things like Woodlands Dark and Days Bewitched and the full chorus set, because David was like, Kayla was editing this bonus feature for Blood on Satan's Claw and said, "I think this can be more," and David said, "Then it's going to be more. We'll hold the release." And then eventually it got to the point where she was like, "It's too big," and he was like, "All right, let's do something else. Let's figure it out."
Right.
And a couple years later, here we go. We've got an award-winning documentary, and that kind of creativity, you know, shouldn't be stifled.
Right.
You know, I was like, "David, I want to do a podcast," and he was like, "All right, if you want."
Is there any ridiculously great acquisition story from the last couple of years that hasn't come out anywhere else?
I can't talk about the one I want to talk about, because there's a lot of David does not like working with studios, because studios are very tough.
Right.
And David found a very fun way to stick it to the studio while also coming out like a gentleman, and it's fantastic. I can't talk about it more than that, but
maybe someday.
It's hard because like a lot of these people are such characters. We signed a contract with the director not Hal Ashby. Jeez. I don't want to start that.
Interesting.
Earl Owensby Studios.
Right.
And we got a contract, and there was a giant mustard stain on it. I was like, "Is this part of the signature?" But like, these people are just such characters. Like the Harry Novak office. There's a great bonus feature on what disc? Pink. It's a pink disc. Scream in the Streets. Where they went to the Harry Novak office, and it hasn't aged since 1971. I think there was also a sandwich on the floor from 1971. Like, it's just insane. And so those are the kind of characters. And our office is very incestuous, where like there's a lot of companies who not in a weird way.
It was just perfect with some of the titles.
Blu-ray labels are very incestuous in the sense that we're all here to help each other and do that. So I've often wanted to record just the people like the demon David DeFalco. You know, that dude's amazing. And he comes by the office and he flexes and he asks us if we want any discs. And he's like, if you want a copy of without war, what was it? Yeah, I've ruined it. If you want a copy of Stingray, you got to meet me in the cage. And he like throws a fist, and it's like that stuff is the kind of stuff that I live for, and just like I'm so happy to be in this industry because it's just people who get it and people
Right.
who are like me, and there's a level of comfort and mutual respect. Bob Morawski comes by and just throws reels of film at us and says, once you're done scanning it, just throw it away, it's garbage, and just goes off, and it's the same car he's had since 1970, and
Right.
it's just I don't know, there's something really fun about that whole thing and the feeling, and I don't know, didn't answer your question at all, but whatever.
I loved it. So I mean, you said people like you. What are you like? How did you get into this in the very beginning?
I think I've been a collector my whole life. Like, I used to work at a video store just so I could get a discount and take home titles. And then I found this great loophole that was used discs. We get 60% off as opposed to 30% off. So I would may or may not open titles, buy them, sell them back as used with my employee benefit, and get the 60% off title. So I just was, and then I became just the dude who was the most enthusiastic out of the people who worked there, and
Right.
I loved recommending movies and finding movies and giving people that kind of stuff. And then in 2014 I got the opportunity to work on Nightbreed for Scream Factory, which was awesome. It won some awards. I got to do the director's cut, work with Clive, and get an understanding of how the Blu-ray industry works, and I really enjoyed it. But I was editing on TV and editing film and stuff like that
Right.
before then, and that was what I did for my main thing. And then Severin, a friend of mine, Jim Coons, was like, hey dude, Severin needs help, do you have any interest in that? I was like, fuck yeah. Like, what? And they were like, it's nothing right now. So I worked part-time for a few years, and eventually David was like, this, I don't see Severin working the same way without you anymore.
Right.
So I don't want you to part-line, I want you to mainline this shit in your veins. And I'm like, that's amazing. Yes. So, I've been full time with Severin for 3 or 4 years now. And, it was like right before the pandemic. So I guess 2, oh man, feels like 3 or 4 years. It's been 2, but, I've been full stream ahead since March of when the pandemic happened. So 2019, is that 2019 or 2020?
2020.
And, I've been happy as a clam ever since, man. Sometimes I work a little too much, but now that I have a child, I need to curb and remember I have a personal life.
Yep, just a little bit. That's a big change for you, of course.
But I mean, he'll sleep eventually.
Maybe. Some of us aren't so lucky.
I said eventually.
I mean, you mentioned you're a collector. What other things do you love? You don't like Franco. What's the first thing that goes, okay, I have to buy that?
Got Golden Harvest.
Nice.
I'm a huge Golden Harvest fan. Like, I shook my fist at the fact that I'm going to buy Police Story 1, 2, and 3
again,
especially after I've bought like expensive bootlegs
right,
of some of the titles. I don't know, man. Like, there are certain things where I've got to do it, and Hong Kong cinema has always been just a huge thing. I love a weird horror comedy. Like,
Same.
Mondo put out Strangler versus Strangler, and
Yep.
I'm like, I don't know anything about this. This sounds so stupid. I'm in. I love regional filmmakers, despite them usually not being the best.
Right.
There's always an earnestness, and there's always a nugget in there. Like, Willie Rabin did Giant Spider Invasion. I will always appreciate that. I also own the Arrow set. I'll say that. That's it. That's all I'll say about that. Nothing.
I have a patron that just really, really quickly, like literally less than 3 days, ran through the entire Rabin set, and I just empathy towards him.
Dude. But I don't know. It really is kind of just a mixed bag of what I get made fun of a lot by my friends for having very weird tastes. Like, they can't pin down what
Right.
I like, and it's just because I like what I like, and I'll get what I want, Like,
Exactly.
and I'll watch 1 or 2 movies, and then I'll, if I like it, I'll continue. If not, I will hold on to it forever. But anything Ray Harryhausen, anything stuff like that.
Nice.
I'm actually, I say this sounding like a complete, like I'm projecting what I want people to do for us, but I'm a label loyalist, where if a label is putting something out, and it's a label I trust, like Indicator, for example. Indicator series is absolutely amazing, and they put out this set of movies I'd never even heard of. I got this the other day blindly because I was like, they've done a really great job of,
every single box set,
keeping my attention and knowing what they're putting out, and so I did that. I just got the After Dark neo-noir set from Imprint, who have been pretty amazing. Their first 3 phases, or whatever you want to call it, three pre-orders, I got all of them. I got the first one, I loved every title in there, and then the second one, I loved almost every title in there. Jonathan Livingston Seagull, not for me, but they showed an emphasis on putting out titles that were hard to find, like Detective Story, or films that had never been released ever on
any home media,
on anything. And what was it? I Married a what was it? That movie was amazing. I wish
it was their second or third title.
Oh my god, that movie was so good. I Married a Monster from Outer Space.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Oh, it was so great, and it's just like that title never would have found me. So any company that's really going out there and trying something new. I mean, Massacre is putting out Category 3 titles right now, or
will be.
They've hinted at it. Yeah. And before that, they put Macanal out there, the Bollywood Nightmare on Elm Street, and like that. I've been wanting to see that for years, so I was finally able to see it in off of a print, or who put out Thrilling Bloody Sword.
That was Golden Ninja.
Golden Ninja, they put that out, and I that was my first foray into them, and so now they're on my radar. Of if anything, I got to look at more of their stuff and bulk buy, because they're in Canada, and that shipping is expensive.
Yep.
but I also like Diabolic DVD and Orbit for putting out, not curating. Well, Diabolic used to curate a lot more, of what they put out. They would do like titles that were only out, like if it had a US release, they wouldn't carry the foreign release, but I think they kind of do both now, unless a company doesn't want them to. I know that there was something with Arrow. I think Arrow and
Synapse,
they favor Synapse over them for their dual titles. But there's, like I said, there's no rhyme or reason, and then sometimes I just really want something, and it's gone, and I will fight to get it. Or
I completely get that. Yeah, and we've been both following each other in some of these Facebook groups, trying to track some of these titles down.
Yeah, I've been trying to get you a couple of titles every once in a while.
I appreciate that.
Your weekly reminder. Here's my list of everything that I need.
Yep, and it's a very specific list. I've appreciated the help, and actually one of them, you messaged me about Decalogue from Arrow, and I love that you messaged me. And then the week prior, I just happened to have gotten it. I got it from Canada for like a third of the price that you normally get it, so it's finally off the list.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. It was a huge relief.
You could not watch it in peace. I'm not convinced you open any of your movies. The amount of movies you buy, I can't even imagine.
I open pretty much everything. It's the amount of time I get to watch. That's where it goes down.
Fair enough.
So Severin, we got the sale coming up. What are we've talked about a starter pack. What about your favorites? What is, like, you would say the people have to buy these?
Man, when I work conventions, because I do Monsterpalooza and Son of Monsterpalooza, the ones I always encourage people to get are the weirdest titles that are just, they speak so much to me. Beyond the Seventh Door is a 5-star movie. I don't know if you've seen it, but it is a shot on video, The Room style movie, where it's Saw meets Tommy Wiseau meets a blind editor.
That's a perfect description.
It is such a mess of a movie when everything needs to be suspenseful and terrifying. Like these two people are trying to get to a bag of money in the middle of this giant house, and there's traps, like Saw level traps, where they have to figure out how to get out of a room to get into the next one. And when it needs to be stressful, the lead dude is sitting down smoking a cigarette, just thinking, while the girl's like, I guess I'm going to talk this. But when the resolution of that has happened and everyone's supposed to calm down before the next scene, he's like, we've got to go, we've got to run. I'm like, where was this enthusiasm? It's just such a mishmash and just such a unique thing. And then the bonus feature on there is of the director who has been a projectionist at this movie theater forever, out of choice. And he's like, I just want to project movies. That's what I want to do. Like, that's, and it's a 30-minute bonus feature about him, and it's fucking fantastic. The Changeling it's the title that changed my career at Severin, and you know, got me to do more, and got David to go, okay, let's continue with this.
Right.
God, dude, there's so many titles that come out. Siege, it became an instant favorite for me. I think every once in a while you hit a movie, and when you're working on it, you go, okay, this is fucking amazing. Perdita Durango was another film that as soon as I saw it, I was like, this is fucking unbelievable. I'm so excited that we get to put this out. And then I had to watch it 40 times because we got the original elements. Christ. We got the original elements, and turns out it was for the US R-rated cut down version. That Alex is like, that is the worst, and it has different versions, and we didn't have the full thing, so we had to hunt down that and trying to find those and getting those elements, and oh man, it was such a process, and it just kept growing and growing and growing to the point where I can't watch that movie again, but I will encourage everyone else watch it multiple times because it's great. But
it is great, and actually does really good on a rewatch too.
It does. There's like there's a little bit in the middle that gets a little long in the tooth, but once it gets past there, you're back into the enthusiasm and the speed. But like I was saying, Brides of Blood, I eight times will get you. No, that whole concept, and my favorite part of these titles is the story behind it. Like, for example, John Ashley was a dude who lived in the Philippines because he could only really get it up for a very specific lady, and he had no interest in American women. He was like, I like the Filipino girls, dude. Oh, you're shooting a movie? Yeah, I could do that. And he's amazing. But the whole story of that series of films is in the bonus features, talking about like this dude owned a giant property in the Philippines and was like, you want to make movies there? Go ahead. Oh, do you want actors? Hold on, I have a whole crew of people here who they'll do anything for $50. Watch this. Right. Hey, here's $50. Jump off that cliff. Boom. Oh, he did it. Crazy. We're not even rolling it. Like, it's just a level of enthusiasm of people who are just like, I love money. I want to feed my family. So there's like a level of just insanity. There's a dude who sets himself on fire in one of the movies. But that's beyond the point. But I don't know, man. There's a lot of titles that really just are fun and get me, and I talk about them all on the podcast now. So and I work in a way that I can't think about things after they're gone because I have to keep going.
Of course,
to the next thing. But
I get it.
The Reb Brown is one of my favorite actors. Whenever I see his name pop up in my list of things to do, like Strike Commando and RoboCop. RoboWar. That's the first one that I was like, I have to share this with people, was Shocking Dark.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone saw that.
Many people have. That
started a love affair with Fragazzo and Matei for me. What are they doing, and why do people keep giving them money?
And I think that's been one of the best parts of Severin, is these titles that you guys are using, the cheeky retitling on some of these. And Shocking Dark was one of them.
No one's cheekier than Matei and Fragazzo, man. They're great, and they always are. Bruno isn't, but that's for life reasons. He's dead. But Fragazzo is always down to do an interview and always surprised that we are interested in the titles that we have him talk about. Yeah. So what about you? What are your titles to go to?
My go-to genuinely was Saint Bernard. I already brought that one up. And then my big one lately is Santa Sangre. I think that there's a lot of people that have still not seen that somehow. And the 4K, if you just walk into that fresh, it is kind of a mind-blowing film, having never seen it before. But obviously, if you had seen it, to see the transformation between the Blu-ray to the 4K, it is a mind-blowing restoration. You guys really hit some of these out of the park, and it was just baffling how good it looks.
Thanks, man. Yeah, no, I always love when discs come with a restoration reel.
Yep.
One of my favorites was Arrow put out one of my favorite films, The Apartment.
Yeah.
And they created a restoration reel for that, showing just the amount of work that goes into that stuff, and it just makes you as a viewer appreciate just what you got to see,
right,
and how good it looks. I haven't watched the new Kino Lorber disc, but I bought it. I watch it every year on in between Christmas and New Year's, because that's when it takes place.
Yep.
And so I'm saving for that. But who put it out? A really great one was for Rollerball.
Yeah,
the
Scorpion.
German. I got the
the big one. Yeah,
I got the German 4K because I'm a 4K snob now. I didn't get it.
It
for
is
a long
ridiculous
time.
box set.
I bought that stupid thing.
It is so big.
But nothing is bigger than the Mulholland Drive thing, and I am so mad. I bought it because I was like, it's so big. It's got to have stuff in it. And you open the box. Hold on, let me see. The box, like, say the box is this big, right? Because it is. And then the contents of the box was on a little black thing that was right here, and I'm just like, what's with the extra space? Fuck you! I got so mad.
Have you seen the Second Sight Drive in person yet?
Not yet, because I didn't buy it. It's too big.
Dude, two big full-length books on the inside. Two books. It is... where is it? Genuinely, this is for one film. Look at this. This is like my head.
Dawn of the Dead is similar, but not as...
For
goddamn.
one film, and there's not multiple cuts in here. This is a 2-disc release, and it's this big.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot going on there, man. My wife and I really love Drive, and I'm like, do we need this? I mean, Battle Royale, that set, I couldn't hold on to that. Yeah. I couldn't justify keeping that because I hate the second movie so much. But I wanted it, and then I got it, and I was like, what am I doing? Because then I didn't think they were going to put a standard release out because they were marketing it as like, this is the 4K, this is what you get. And so I'm going to get the standard release because I just love that movie. Now my space is like, man, I'm running out. I don't want to rotate this because it's a mess in here now because I had to make it look nice behind me. But like I have my shelves here, and I got these IKEA things, and I started doing tiered shelving like that. Yep. I created a second row because the depth of it, I couldn't justify that extra shelf space not being used. And I have doors, so I had to cut through the back. Trying to make it all work, and then I was like, okay, these are filling up. So I started sneaking stuff in the empty space that I now have between the shelves, and now that's all full. So I pulled all the stuff that I've worked on, and I have like a second shelf that is now. It used to be this, and now all the stuff that I've worked on is proudly displayed in my closet, in crates.
I have a closet in this room, and I call it my shame closet. All of my studio releases are stacked like 55 high.
Dude, I've had friends come over, and they look at my thing, and they're like, do you have a Spider-Man? Like, do you have any of those movies that I might know? But I love boutique labels, man. And everything big is streaming somewhere.
Right.
So why I can buy it? Why buy it?
I get it.
When you can own Champagne and Bullets on Blu-ray for the first time ever. That was a movie
with 3 different cuts.
Yeah, I saw that. There's a theater. There are 2 theaters out here that made me feel at home when I first moved to LA. And the Cine Family was one of them before they got creepy and went out of business. But the New Beverly Cinema is another one. And without those things, they really shaped what I love and what I really like go after. And I saw Getaven, which is a cut of Champagne and Bullets. I saw Miami Connection, there. I saw, like, just, man, so many movies that I get so excited when they finally get released from somebody.
Right.
And I hate the word finally is getting overused in the collector industry. It drives me nuts. I don't know if you can tell. I haven't talked to anyone in like weeks that isn't a baby. So my brain is working at 1,000,000 miles a minute right now. But there's like just the word finally. I would love it if we could finally stop using it, because people don't know what it was like to get a bootleg from some dude in Sweden, no tracking because it wasn't a thing yet.
Right.
And just 6 months later, you go, oh shit, I forgot. I ordered that. It's here. Finally.
Or
As
3 years
opposed
later,
to-
you forget you ordered it and you never got it.
Yeah, yeah. And media mail and tracking has made it so people say finally after a week and a half. And
Right.
I'm just like, you don't get it, man.
I
You weren't
completely
there,
agree.
man.
And
But,
I will wholeheartedly recommend the New Bev for anybody that gets out there. I went there last
you
Saturday
came.
for that John Waters double feature.
Yeah, no, that place is amazing. When I was in college, I did a bonus feature. I was in a filmmaking like a reality like a news broadcast class, because I was in a film school and they have me do everything. And I did a featurette on the New Beverly in their Midnight series, and I got to interview everybody and go there and get in for free for once.
Awesome.
But yeah, no, I love that place so much. But yeah, Severin.
On that note, I will try to respect your time. I know that you got to go to bed for the baby here soon. I appreciate you coming out tonight. I know that it's a lot when you're a new dad to do something like this. So completely respect everything you're doing.
I appreciate it. If there's anything else that you have before I deuce, then I'm cool to chill for a couple of minutes. But otherwise, I'm gonna deuce out.
Well, the last thing, I mean, I'm sure you.
I think that works.
I'm sure you can't reveal anything. Is there anything that you can hint at in the upcoming year?
Get the
one of the
fuck
big
out
things.
of here.
One of the things I love are the tchotchkes that Severin puts out, and I know that's a silly thing, but a lot of people genuinely love them. Like the
No,
fucking
we got
the Cruel
called,
Jaws squirt gun.
We got called the Trinket People in like a negative review. They were like, "Uh-oh, the Trinket People are back." And guess what? That's a badge of honor.
It really is. I love everything I have. I mean, I have the plush from fucking Anthropophagus. You can't really go wrong with that.
Which is in Red Rocket from Sean Baker.
Yes.
Because why not have a 16-year-old girl or a 17-year-old girl have a plushie of a dude eating his own intestines?
I love that the Wild Beast poster was so prominent in that shot too. It was so great.
No, and the best part is after the sex scene, you look over and the Anthropophagus doll is facing downward. Like they turned him over in shame. They didn't want him to see what they were going to do. But no, and no, trinkets and knickknacks will not stop. Novelizations have been a huge hit, for example, and I know David has really loved that. Brad loves writing them, and I think those are going to continue going. And you know, David, he lights up every time we think of some dumb thing. Like, it was my idea to create the Cruel Jaws Hulk Hogan bandanas. Yes. I was like, let's do that. And it didn't make any sense. And David was like, fuck it, let's do it. But like there have been like creative sessions where he just grabs some of us and says like, let's all hop on the Zoom and figure out, you know, what can we do for bonus features, for trinkets. And I mean, the best part is we have people like Jason Duran and Amy Voorhees who have these connections to go, oh, I know who could do that.
That's awesome.
Like, why not? This is by my desk because I'm so proud of this stupid thing. The Horror of Spider Island spider.
Yes.
What? Why? Let's just do it anyways. And that's why. And then the Severin way is why not? Fuck it.
The grizzly statue is so freaking rad.
It's currently holding up my female executioner.
That is amazing. I've got to respect it.
Yeah, no, it's not going to stop. And if I come up with any stupid ideas, David will never not listen. And that's what I love about this company, and that's why I'm so happy to be someone who works for Severin and someone who gets to call these these employees or coworkers my friends,
colleagues. Maybe is that the word we were going for?
Colleagues. Yeah, I was trying to think because I wanted to say they're my friends, and that's what I call them first. So I couldn't think of the word that is a proper word.
It sounds like you need to get your hour sleep for the night. So.
Oh, it'll happen.
Anyways, again, thank you so very much. I always say from one collector to all of you, but genuinely for the first time in a while, from two collectors to all of you. Have a good night and have fun at the sale this weekend.
Buy shit.